We're talking about Montgomery County DWI cases. I'm Brian Foley. I'm a board certified criminal defense attorney, and I'm a former prosecutor at the Montgomery County DA's office. When I was a prosecutor there, I was on the vehicular crimes team, which specializes in DWI cases where there's been a fatality crash or wreck causing serious bodily injury. And there's a bunch of different things that happen when you get arrested in Montgomery County, Texas for a DWI. The first thing to know is you kind of get prosecuted twice. Today, we're going to be discussing a misdemeanor first-time DWI arrest. So you'll get taken to the jail once the officer has made his assessment. They've probably done the field sobriety tests. There's 3 of those they'll do. They'll maybe ask you for a breath or a blood test, and then they'll take you to the Montgomery County Jail. So that's one prosecution. That's for driving while intoxicated, Class B, most likely, assuming your breath test came back under a 0.15, or if they did a blood test, they won't know the result immediately. It'll take about a month, maybe up to 4 months to get that blood result back. But they take you to the jail. You have a court date in one of the county courts, typically County Court at Law number 1, 4, or 5 in Montgomery County. There are other county courts, but they handle other types of law and not criminal. And so you'll have this court date, you'll get released, and then you also have a court setting, not yet, but you will if we request what's called an ALR hearing or an administrative license hearing. This is something that has to be done within the first 15 days if you've refused to give a breath or a blood sample. So for example, you could refuse to give a breath or blood sample, and then they do a search warrant. They get your blood. Well, we don't know what the result of that is yet, but DPS will try to suspend your license anyway, just for refusing to provide that sample. Part of the transportation code has these rules in it, basically saying that if you refuse to give a breath or blood sample, they're going to try to suspend your license. But we can help prevent that. An attorney can help prevent that for you. In Montgomery County, we have ALR hearings on a regular basis. We'll subpoena the police officer to that and fight the driver's license suspension. But there's another way to handle that. There sometimes, for people who have no criminal history, they've never been arrested before, it's advantageous for us to waive that hearing and get an occupational driver's license to cover the period of time where their license is going to be suspended. Then if we go to court, we may be able to work out something that's a little bit easier to handle than something like being on probation, obviously better than jail time. For most people who've been charged with a first-time offense, if there's no wreck, your blood alcohol level is fairly low, but maybe even over the limit, we're not really worried about our client going to jail. We're worried about how it's going to affect their future. Most of our clients are trying to get something like this dismissed or expunged, or at the very least, what's called non-disclosed, which would be something that's sealed. But man, we've only been recording this video for 3 minutes, and we have touched so many different areas. I could do a whole video on every single fact that I've talked to you about in a DWI. So the fact that we're going to go over today is, do you need a lawyer for a DWI case? I think the clear answer is yes. Even I, who am a lawyer, who I practice with DWI law, I would probably still get another lawyer to represent me on the case, because it is very difficult to understand every aspect. To have a good, fresh pair of eyes on something would be good as well. But your driver's license suspension is an issue. Whether or not they're going to try to give you jail time or probation is an issue. And how does the evidence in your case that they have captured on body camera, on dash camera, and that they had doing chemical tests like a gas chromatograph analysis of the blood, things like that. All of that is very particular scientific evidence that needs a good review from an attorney. And we have cases that have all sorts of different types of people in them. We've represented engineers, teachers, doctors, you name it. Everybody is susceptible to getting an arrest for a DWI. It doesn't mean you're guilty. That only happens if the state can prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt later on. Or you may decide to enter a plea bargain agreement that allows the case to be settled in a way that's advantageous to you. Some people are trying to get it just over with as quickly as possible. Others, again, if you're a young person or you're a professional, you want to try to get something like this off of your record. So thanks for tuning in. That is a brief, very brief overview of Montgomery County DWI cases. Again, I'm Brian Foley. These videos are only for educational purposes. If you've been arrested for DWI, make sure to call a lawyer, and we will see you next time.